welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV. A chance to get 3 points against second from bottom. Yet again, we do a very Coventry City thing. 5 changes, 1 enforced, the rest weren't. Obviously, Frank wasn't happy with certain players, but that wasn't the response he or the fan base were hoping for. And it was a weird first half where neither fullbacks overlapped. In fact, it felt like they were instructed to hold on numerous occasions. Both wingers came inside a lot, kept swapping. It looked untidy. Second half was better, but we were a little clueless against a team who defend deep. And we do that so often where we do struggle. Wasted opportunities to get the ball into the box. And even with 2 or 3 minutes remaining, we still didn't attempt to swing a ball in. Over 50 touches in their box, and they only touched the ball 7 times in our area, which is incredible, really. I wish we could defend like Oxford. Maybe if we had in the last 2 previous games, we might have won at Norwich and QPR. Substitutions were too late for me. And one last thing, where was Frank the Tank? The man with all the hype. Everybody thought, I expected he'd get some minutes at least. But when I saw he wasn't picked, I thought, okay, fair enough. Maybe too soon, but he's played 4 games in the African nations. You're not telling me he's not fit enough to play. And then he doesn't get on the pitch at all. And it seems to went unnoticed by a lot of people because I didn't hear it hardly anybody around me going, "Where's the new bloke?" But he never got a look in. It was interesting with the changes, both centre halves being dropped. Basically, I'm not going to buy into the thing where they've been rotated. Wolfenden and WLADITT came in. I thought they did okay, to be honest. They did what was expected. They weren't really troubled. Also, Rodoni being dropped as well. EMC was forced. I was just really, really disappointed. This is yet again a chance for us to make a mark, get those 3 points, go into the game against Middlesbrough, put a bit of pressure onto them who are going to Sheffield United on Monday night. And now we're in a scenario where Middlesbrough could go to Sheffield, they could win, they could go 2 points above us, come to our place, they could beat us and be all of a sudden 5 points ahead of us. That's how important this win would have been today. And I'm not sure whether or not the players have got jelly legs. They are not playing free-flowing football like they did at the start of the season at all. The bounces in the box aren't going towards us. I hear people complain about the referee. I don't think the referee, you can blame the referee for anything. I thought today, if anything, the referee gave out way more cards than I thought he would have done. I mean, the guy, although should have got a straight red for the assault on WLADITT, but basically we are messing this up big time. And somehow the players have got to find it within them to start winning matches. This is a big 2 points drop today, just like the 2 points we dropped to Oxford earlier on in the season, where basically we played them off the park and we should have won that game as well. Currently, I'm on my own, and I don't know if anybody else is coming in, so I'm going to read some comments, and I think I'll do that and get your views, because I think you can tell by what I've been thinking, that wasn't great. So Salop CCFC says, first half, Cov 65.6 possession. Total touches inside the opposition box 22, 3 shots on target. I don't really remember their keeper making too many saves. Second half, 73.7% possession, 23 shots, 5 on target, 10 men from 77th minute. Yeah. Finn, nice stale even at home, 2 points drop, just not good enough. Top v bottom with 10 men too. Forget top 2, no chance. David Blackwell. We'll be lucky if we make the playoffs. Wheels have really come off. I mean, I didn't boo at the end. Did any of you boo? If you did, let us know why. Steve CCFC, every game the same lately, trying to walk the ball into the net, needs to be more direct and keep the ball low, like we did first half of the season. It's just dire. The other thing is as well, we had so many corners, so many set pieces, and we kept saying, when they do finally get a decent ball in, no one's running in. They seem to go past it, or they just haven't gone in for it. But majority of them were very poor. The crosses coming in, not good enough, basically. This is from 4D. He says, if we can't beat Oxford at home, we don't deserve to go up. Now relying on teams to do us a massive favour. Coventry Rich says, thank God we didn't get Patrick Bamford. Well, he's injured at the minute. So, yeah, he would have been playing anyway. Mark says, totally agree, Finn. Relegation form, not top of the team. League form. Can't even see how we can make the playoffs. Goals tally dried up. We messed up not getting Bamford. I'll say it again, but he's injured. He's played 7 matches and he's got injured. Salop CCFC, Franks makes a statement by dropping Kitchen Bobby, but this means there's no threats at corners, free kicks, etc. I don't understand Milan today, especially in the first half, not getting forward at all. There was hardly any overlapping. And for some reason, the ball kept going out to him, and immediately they were doing the old habits of last season. Well, I call it Robin's ball, where basically they're trying to keep it as much as they can at the back. And those possession stats, how many of that percentage was actually in the last third? That would be interesting. It'd be great to see a breakdown of our end of the pitch, middle of the pitch, and the final third to see where all that percentage of that possession was. How many chances does Wright need? Can someone tell him where the goal is? Although they gave everything with no killer instinct, and we can't beat Oxford at home, then no chance against Borough. Something I spoke about. We've got 3 strikers. They've all scored 10 goals each. I neither class them as dangerous for me. They just do not. They're just not dangerous forwards, as far as I'm concerned. Finn says, at this stage, he should be giving all the new signings a start. Try something different. I've not heard Frank Lampard. I'd be interested to know why Frank didn't even get a sniff. Agree, Tony. Wright's conversion rate is shocking. Agree, Finn, though. I'm not sure Frank will do that. He's lost the plot recently with team selection and tactics. I don't care much for his interviews, actually, with Rob Gurney. Very sour a lot of the times. Frank only plays one way. The Derby fans were right. Tony says, delivering to the box, constantly rebuffed by Oxford. Poor service. We should have put them to the sword. Mini not starting. Essay on the left. What is FL thinking? If Mini no good, why did we bring him in? Oh, he did, when he come on, he looked like just a young kid. I thought it was strange. You're telling me Frank the Tank could have managed 10 minutes at the end? I find that absolutely bizarre, that decision not to play him. Which Finn says, which has been working. He needs to look at the losses. Agree, Finn, says Mark. I'm gutted. I thought the new start today, look at our squad, just not clicking for some reason. Missed opportunity to go 7 clear of Ipswich, yeah, exactly. And Borough could go first on Monday, which is what I was saying. I can see Frank in the interview now, all angry with his quivering lip. He must have lost the dressing room with his high expectations. What's happening in Dublin? Said Salop. What's happening in Dublin? No, but I think Italy beat Scotland at rugby. I mean, I'm not interested, but I couldn't believe that. First half performance for me was shockingly poor. No pace on the passing, no urgency to get on with it. Finn says, can see Borough being 5 points clear after they play us. We're blowing it, fuming. Wright looked absolutely a shell of himself, says M. King. Be interesting. He's coming to the Leamington Warwick supporters meeting on Tuesday. That's going to be an interesting night. When Wright wasn't completely missing headers, he was blocking our shots off his backside. Rubbish. This was Oxford, not Manchester United, says Pompey Lil. Yeah, exactly. And I hear people saying, oh, well, there's no easy games in the Championship. Well, there is really, because they're second bottom. And we know, yes, they're not easy games, but they're definitely winnable, aren't they? And we've proven we can't win the winnable matches so far this season. That's another team in the bottom half of the table. We failed to get points up. Well, we failed to beat, basically. And it feels like the old habits where we can't get results against teams struggling. Have to hope Sheffield United get at least a point on Monday, says M. King. Tony says, remarkable turn of events. We're still top, at least until Monday. But with the boos at the end, I hope FL was listening to the overall frustration at his tactics. Be incisive and direct. Thought Frank's substitutions were too little and far too late. I'll tell you what, sorry. I just think it's almost like he didn't know what to do, basically, how to change it, who to bring on. And they finally bring on Sims. I couldn't believe they went 2 up top, but they hardly got the ball to them. It's just bizarre. Prediction, no automatic promotion. We miss out in the playoffs. Lampard departs. Should have given him the money to get players in the playoff window. We can blame Frank, but I don't think this has been that great a window. I can see us losing to Hull or Millwall in the playoff finals at Wembley now. Pompey Lil, there's a reply here to Pompey Lil. They're all turning up when they play league bottlers Coventry. I'm glad to hear from next week, league leaders. I will be glad to hear no. Oh, sorry, I'm not right. They all turned up when they play league bottlers Coventry. I will be glad to not hear from next week, league leaders, not deserved since December. We're not playing like a team who should be top of the table. That's absolutely clear. We can't deny it. For ages, we've been saying mind the gap because there was a huge gap, but we haven't been performing. It was clear that Oxford were going to yellow card their way through the game. That being said, they had at least 2 or 3 possibly sent off. Finn says, if we make playoffs, can you see us winning it? Seriously. M. King, by the way, the new striker for Southampton, Laring, came off the bench and won them the game, 1-0 at Watford. You watch, he will do the same against us. I know it. Bamford could not have been any worse than Hadji was today. Just brutal on the finishes. Disgusting, to be fair, said Robert Mason. The only good thing is Latz and Wolfie getting to know each other for the running. Bobby and Kitch have cost us. 82 minutes, it was 4-1 for the draw when they were down to 10 men. Yeah, that's not great, is it? Getting sick of MVE not coming back fast enough to defend. Luke bailed him out several times today. Nick from Birmingham says they took Miles' advice. He says they took Miles' advice and played like Eddie the Eagle. I don't know. At the minute, it could be a slippery slope out of in the next few games are crucial. They have to turn this round if they really, really, really want to get out of this division. I don't see enough from this team at the minute to prove that. I think they are really struggling. Now, it's just not happening. Andrew Bowen says, that was so frustrating, like watching us play Sunderland in the playoffs last year, except Oxford are considerably worse. You got to remember, Oxford offered no threat whatsoever. And that's what's disappointing. They've just basically defended the whole game, like their lives depended on it. And we just offered little, basically. And when we did create the chances, we got in each other's way. I thought Oxford were just crap team employing the dark arts, aiming for a draw, and they got it. Salop CCFC says, is Jamie Patterson available to come back? We need some batches in the team. Kevin Naseby says, I'd be fuming if I was Minnie. No point coming in to sit on the bench. Frank putting in Minnie just before the end of 90 was just stupid. Esse was our most threatening player. I would have replaced Sakamoto with Minnie since Sakamoto was on a yellow. Come on, Frank. If I want a short back and size, I'd go to the barbers. Get a grip with your tactics before it's too late. Nick from Birmingham says, at least Jack thinks Frank will be a legend, even if he all goes wrong. Bless him. I just don't understand Onyeka not getting on the pitch. I find it bizarre. No Alan on the bench. Have we seen the last of him? Maybe we can do something to honour him. Name the subs bench after him. Sky Blue Army says, well, that was an interesting selection. To be fair to Lampard, we did everything but score. Middlesbrough is a must-win now, and a draw won't do. Well, a draw will be okay if they don't win at Sheffield. That's the thing, isn't it? You know, to keep ourselves in front of them. Sheffield United is a hard game. If we were going to Sheffield United needing to win to go top, I wouldn't fancy it, to be honest. Especially with our current form, although Middlesbrough have won 4 in a row, have they? If you look at the player ratings, Oxford keeper is man of the match, so that shows we did everything but score. Middlesbrough will lose on Monday. Ipswich were lucky against Derby and Hull lost. I can't see how their keeper was man of the match, to be honest. I thought the central defenders did a lot more than their keeper had to. I know we're second. I know they are second bottom, but Oxford have beaten Ipswich this season, drew with Millwall and Borough, so they like playing the top teams. Yeah, but they've done that at home, haven't they? They've beaten the 3 teams who relegated at home, I think. Although, no, sorry, they won at Leicester, didn't they? Playing on the break, exactly that. It's absolutely clueless home performance. 4-3-3 has run its course. Time for a change. Midfield non-existent going forward. Both fullbacks way off it. Low block equals no wing threat. That was a complete shambles. Yeah, it's no good playing that formation if you don't get them forward. Especially first half, and Oxford had everyone defending. Coventry looked like they had no clue what to do with the ball. Absolutely shocking. Paul Stratton says, time to inject some aggression into our play. 10 corners, all cleared. No second balls won, hardly. 50-50 won, hardly any. We are too lightweight. We lack physical aggression, which is needed in the league. Yeah, there's a bloke on the bench who could have added that today. Still don't understand what's going on. Mark Patman, even all, well, that was a terrible game. We had a week to prepare for this awful performance. Yes, Ian was. We just can't beat the rubbish teams. We can't beat the good ones at the minute, Liam. If they come and decide not to play it, we have no answer. M. King, that performance for me lies squarely at Lampard's feet. The players are playing as if they have tuned him out. Uncle Jonga, still driving home. I'm still frustrated at the game today. We had no plan B. Good to catch up with you, Claudio, on the way. Walk back to the car. Yes, I realise you meant me. I've been working all day. Should we have won? Said Neil Park. Well, according to SG, we should have. And we had 50 touches in their box. They had 7 in ours. Just not good enough. Toothless, gutless, a lack of urgency. Might as well give Borough and Ipswich the auto, says HCCFC. M. King. I bet Claudio's really annoyed. I'm livid right now at that performance. Yeah, I'm annoyed, frustrated. I don't get angry like I used to years ago. I didn't boo it at the end because I kind of, when you've been watching a certain football team for years and years, it just feels like inevitable, isn't it? That we're going to be the team that screws it up absolutely big time. The biggest lead after, was it in October or November? And we're going to screw it up absolutely magnificently, basically. It's such a shame. Neil Park, Frank the Tank's wife is about to give birth. Yeah, but he's on the subs bench. Frank was on the bench today, exactly. Utterly frustrating, says Mark Rainbow. Huff, puff, and nothing. 50 touches in their area for 6 shots on target. Fair weather players, throw it away, says Dave Nichols. Spend $4.5 million on a player who's not match fit. Typical. I forgot about Markello as well. Another one. Well, they've kind of said he's coming for next season, which is weird. You know, Esse should play just behind the strikers. He likes to roam. Phil Taylor. Let's be honest, the game would have been dead and buried at half time before December, but it's not anymore. We've gone past December, and it's annoying, Phil. We've been off it for too long. Look at Stoke Audio. Sheffield United have been good at home. Borough will do well to get a point there. We have to hope anyway. At least the Tank made the bench. The other new lad didn't even make the bench. Yeah, we don't know where he is. Top teams buy players that come straight in and make a difference. I don't understand how he didn't. I expected him to start. I've got to be honest. If we needed confirmation was needed that we are a playoff team, that was it. We are nowhere near the form from August to November, and I don't think it's coming back anytime soon, says Lee Lishman. Leon Johnson, stats means nothing at this point in the season. We want points, forget the rest. James Hollyoak, the players ain't playing for Frank anymore. That's clear to see. How about playing for the fans? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? We've turned up again in our numbers, 30,000, over 30,000 to watch, to a game we got Oxford United playing. That was unheard of, even back in the day when the ground could hold more than the old Highfield Road. We wouldn't have got 30,000 then. Obviously, they changed it to a capacity of 23, but we wouldn't have filled it. Even at this rate, we are not going to make the playoffs, said Mark Friel. Joe Berman, with BTA in mind, isn't that red on Lats a 3-game ban? I think it was a second booking, So if it is, it's not. I think you might just get a 1-match ban. Not sure what I've just watched. I felt we could have been there all night and not scored. We were so slow, says Susan Barney. MVE, what is going on? He was so negative. Exactly. Oxford, a new bogey team, should have smashed them twice this season. 4 points drop, says Gusto Audio. Yeah, not great. Mark Roman says, Claudio, Was your last history podcast from the past season, or was it this year? Yes, the last history podcast with Jim Brown was about 3 seasons where we were leading so far ahead at one point in the season, where one of the seasons we finally got promoted, the other two we completely cocked it up, and it was all about seasons crashing. It could be this one. Food Tech Original, looking like end of Robin's era team more and more. I said that walking out, it feels like Robin's ball at the minute. Too many players each week, not putting a shift in. I mean, in fairness, it's pretty much Robin's players out there. Playoffs at best now, we have a lot harder than Oxford to come. I can't see it turning round. J Wall TV says Frank has run out of ideas. I mean, you could actually say Frank has run out of the one idea. Autism monkey. What a stupid decision to swap our centre backs. No one wins doing that. He won't play them two against Borough. Bring Frank in to sit in a box with Grimes. He can get a clean sheet and have a threat. We are big lads. I don't understand. Yeah, I maybe one of them, but two of them it was. But to be honest, Latty and Wolfenden did okay. They weren't a problem. Didn't boo, but didn't clap either. Don't want it. Yeah, see, that's what you do. And we're leaving. And normally, when we win, final whistle goes, and me and Luca will start to walk out then, and we can get back to the car and come back easy. And we're home by about 5:30 tonight because it was, well, not great. It was 0-0 draw. Nobody was hanging around, were they? You just couldn't get out. It was a nightmare. So nobody was staying behind to clap and doing the 3 punches in the air and all the rest of it. Would have been funny if they had, wouldn't it? Can you imagine that after tonight's performance? What reaction would have been? Wonder why we can't. Wonder why we can't. France back at set piece coach, who's now at West Brom. Well, I see what you mean. Why can't we get him back? Andrew Bowen. I didn't boo, but Doug come off if he thinks I'm staying to the end and getting stuck in a car park. Make me want to stay. This is a good point. Booing our own players an absolute disgrace. And I doubt those who did are new to the winning team. Where were the boo boys when we were in League Two? South CCFC says. Boom was very loud on the radio, Talk Sport. Too much messing around when we could cross the ball into the boxes. Anthony Pettiford too slow. Gustav Audio. MVE poor recently. Time for KKH to get a run out. Peter Doolan says, evening Peter. That was the most frustrating game for a long time. Maybe MVE is knackered and needs a rest in, says Lee Beckett. All these players are so tired. How's the deck now, Doug? 200 million slipping through your fingers, says Paul Stratton, because you sat on your wallet and became complacent. This has cost us automatics big time. Lee Lishman, we look bang average. We are basically back to being a playoff side. The first half of the season was fitness and form. The other teams have caught us up now. The form is nowhere near top two. Anthony Pettiford says, Tats was not beating his man today, but no overlapping to help him at times. Where was BTA? BTA is still suspended. Sack him. Hold on. CCFC says, sack him. Get someone in as soon as possible who can get the job done. I don't know. I think that's a bit. Well, if he was at Watford, he would have been. Mark Rainbow, I think Milan and Jay were instructed to stop bombing down the pitch. It looked like a tactical move to shore at the back. I think it was, Mark. It felt like an away performance in the first half where let's not concede and let's have a go in the second half. And what's happened is when we've done that away from home in the second half, it's gone tits up and they've scored on the break, which they did at Norwich and at QPR. No need to do it at home. We've got such a great home record. Guy should have been sent off for second yellow, put him back right, said David Parfrey. Yeah, well, he did. I don't understand why he didn't get a second yellow there. Beachy says Eccles and Talk are both either 8 or a 6, neither are a 10. Why are we packing the midfield against second from bottom with one up top? Why indeed? Not playing and Onyeka is criminal, says CCFC. King, I'm sure will be on Lampard's phone hard tonight. Anthony Pettifer, right side net choice. Was the best one missed for me. Yeah, he should have put it across him. Neil Warnock says CCFC. Neil Warnock can get them soft clowns over the line. Debbie Glenn, the only chance they had came down, you guessed it, De Silva's side. Well, they do aim for him, don't they? I think that's every team in the league. And when you see him against anybody else, he looks so small. You'd have thought Onyeka would have got at least half a game ready for Borough. Onyeka not match fit, according to Frank, says, oh, here we go. What is match fit, really? Looking at what we've just seen now. This is Sark replying to Paul Stratton. He might make 20 million selling a few of these players at the end of the season. Looks like we are going to have another playoff fight, says Realms of possibility. If he's fit, sorry, says CCFC. He is fit. He's just back from AFCON. Well, he's on the bench, isn't he? What's the point? Why have him on the bench then? Cam Barath can't see what redemption looks like or where it's coming from. I fear it's over. This is a very down fan base tonight. Even though we are top of the league, 5.2 on a winger who's not ready for this level is criminal. Embarrassing, says David Turner. Food Tech Original. Agree, Claudio, with your interpretation of our strikers. They do not provide the all-around elements needed in this league. Sims and Wright do not want to do the ugly, hard work parts. Tap-in merchants. They just don't look dangerous to me as forwards. I mean, I know they've scored goals. When he would have brought Frank on was the point we went 2 up front with Grimes and Radoni in centre midfield. No easy game, says Dave Sports Photos. Where's Ken? CCFC says, we don't have a 10. We didn't want to pay O'Hare what he wanted, but we will give Wolf the same money. Yeah. Too many times offside, so frustrating. I don't get why we wasted money on a player who isn't in the squad. Why waste that money? Yes. I don't understand how our players got... To me, there was a lot of confusion as well today where, because there was a lot of changing, especially in the first half, changing of the wings and that, at one point, there were just no wingers. They're all in the middle of the park and everyone was on top of each other. Weird performance. David Turner says, Frank don't know how to sort it out. He's lost for ideas. Dan Boy. SA has to stop trying clever tricks on our own half. I agree. Dangerous areas. As against better opposition, they'll punish us. SA is not a winger. Since he's been in the team, we've lost the balance. J-Mac says, doesn't matter if you have 2 up top, when neither of them have any ability to get into the right positions and finish. Wright has no composure, and Sims is the most useless aerial threat of all time. CCFC says Lampard played next to Makelele, Ballack and Kante. Why is Essien? And he can't seem to work that midfield out. Clown. He's not very happy with CCFC. This has a playoff final loss against Disney FC written all over it. Biggest crumble in football history, says Andrew Bowen. And this is what's happening now, because I think as a fan base, we'll go up to games, and when it doesn't go right, straight away you fear the worst. No talk of why we didn't sign defenders in transfer windows, said David Turner. We've done previous shows. Too many players in our squad are playing like they know if they get autos, they won't be at the club and their contracts will be replaced and wages lowered to a lower league team standard by being sold. Who knows? Maybe they're just not good enough. Realms of possibility. Teams have sussed us out. 10 behind the ball. Hit us on the break. Silva has gone back to his old habits. Don't panic, Pike, says Salop CCFC. We have signed 32 wingers in a development squad. BCFC. BCFC. Well, they wanted it, didn't they? I said they'd win. I think it's a case of teams having sussed us. Frank has no other ideas. We strolled past Oxford last weekend away. I honestly thought we'd score 4 minimum. He's talking about Blues, yeah. Embarrassing. I'm not happy about it. But today proves to me we are not ready for promotion yet. It doesn't annoy me quite as much now. I've accepted it. Well, the trouble is, Lee, we're top of the table, though, aren't we? So, you know, we got there because we were winning games. This promotion falling apart by 1,000 cuts is screwing us up mental health. And it's very stressful, slow burner to regress into playoff places, says Alex. Robert Mason, on a good point, Wolfie and Latty got into the groove for the run-in. I thought they did all right, actually. Keith, disappointed today, guys, but let's keep a sense of perspective. Top of the league, 5 points ahead of third. Even the very best can't guarantee beating a team that parks the bus. And I will say, you know, I think Leeds got promoted and they lost to somebody who got relegated, I think. So it can happen. It wouldn't be Coventry without drama. And I've had 55 years of it yet. You and me too, Trevor. Wolfie bailed out Milan a number of times, says Mark Rainbow, in the first half, and not tracking their left wing back. For the fastest player in the league, he's been getting roasted in every game recently. He's not on it. Ian Small says, Hadji's miss 5, offside 5 times, quite an afternoon. And I've been chatting to him on Tuesday night. Interesting. King Carlos, sorry, poor game management once again. We are so predictable. No plan B. Why doesn't the FL change formation and tactics? Borough have won 5 in a row, says Stuart Ward. Yeah, so, well, maybe about time they lost one then, isn't it? They could do with losing a couple. Sheffield United away, Coventry City away, that'd be great. Everything I said is fact, says Keith. That'll do. We'll believe you. Robert Mason Cloud, we would rather have 1 point here and 3 points against Borough. Hull getting 1 point in the last 2 games, a huge boost. Well, yes, I mean, that's it. Our mood will change, won't we? If Sheffield don't lose against Middlesbrough, then we beat Middlesbrough, which is, it does happen. And they'll be fully aware of that. We must have the most fickle fan base. Still top. We have the best attendance in 50 years. Where were they when we were getting 8K at home? Loyal supporters. You're allowed to moan, though, Assassins Unite, when you're seeing a performance like that, surely. When you know it's not good enough. When you got an ex-professional, I heard the last 5 minutes of it saying it wasn't good enough, it was poor today. That's a guy who's played the game. 601 matches for the Sky Blues. King Carlos, how many corners do we have and nobody at the near post to flip the ball in the box? Andrew Bowen. Keith, our position means nothing if we are treading downwards. Our form is mid-table. Unless something changes, we'll just about make playoffs. It's better to be frustrated and change things now. Dan Boy says the atmosphere was flat at the CBS today. What's happening? Thought Cov had some of the best fans in the Championship. Or are we fair with the fans? Sing when we're winning. I noticed that it all went quiet after about 10 minutes in the first half. I know Singers Corner say, well, the rest of the ground, well, you've got to keep it going. You lead the way. That's your job. Simple as that. Why is Rodoni such a contrast from last season? When are the objectives higher? Next game is huge. Well, they all are now. We could win. I'll tell you what happens if we win? We win all our remaining games. Happy days. I'm not sure we'll do it on this form. Next game is huge. Win that, and today is immaterial. Keith's Mark says, Frank the Tank not having the baby, he should have played some part in the game. Chin up, says Alex. Which one? Chin up, Claudio. Concerned FL seems bereft of ideas, solutions. Yeah, definitely chin up. Frank Wood, I think the players gave everything today. We need everything but score today. That is the hardest job in football. Keep the faith. This is not over yet. I'll read a few more comments because on my own, and I'm drying up. And I've got a radio show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in the morning. So I don't want to completely lose my voice. All I know is we didn't lose, which would have been awful. On a positive, says Sky Blue Army, at least Hull lost, and we got a first clean sheet in a good while. Frank the Tank should have had a run out in preparation for a season-defining game against Borough, says Tony. Announcers said it was a second yellow. Yes, that's only a 1-match suspension, I think. David Granigan, evening, David. I'll put this up quickly. Autos are off. We are embarrassing to watch at the moment. Gutless and clueless, and Lampard is not the manager we all say he is. And Wright couldn't hit a barn door after Middlesbrough game. We will be third. I'll say it again, and I said it already once before. He's had 2 spectacular runs with us, Frank Lampard, where he won 9 in 10 and 11 in 12. Either side of those runs, it's not been absolutely dynamic, has it? It's been a bit of a struggle. Marky Boy says, I believe the Tank's wife had a baby overnight, which is why he was only on the bench. Well, if he's on the bench, oh dear, I don't get it. I do. What is wrong with footballers nowadays? What makes it more frustrating is that Hadji actually does have the ability to do well. He just doesn't utilise it. It's irrelevant, says BCFC, who Borough have or Ipswich. If things don't change, the chasing pack is going to swallow up Coventry. Well, to be honest, they have done. We have been sucked in good and proper. Leamington FC drew with Oxford City today. Oh, that makes it better. That's a very good point for Leamington because they're struggling. Shocking performance, says David 999. We should have got the emergency services on the pitch, actually. Shocking performance. Haji missed a couple of great chances. If we had Kiefer Moore, we would have won 4-0. We won't pay Kiefer Moore's wages. Lack of spending on defenders should have been replaced last season, but that's not the reason we didn't score today. Having Latty and Wolf in the team tells me Frank is not happy with Thomas and Kit, says Steve. Kareem Mark French says, can anyone tell me what Chaz and Dave do with the players in training? It's nothing to do with football. Let's get the makeup on and do a video. Yeah. I don't think there was much coming out of there this week, was there? And I can't wait to listen back on the interview because I've not heard it yet. Phil Taylor says, Gus carried us the last couple of months in the playoffs. Rudoni did it last season. We need someone to step up now, carry this team with some match-winning performances. We need a leader. Dave Sports Photos. How do you get match fit without playing matches? Exactly. There's no reserve teams anymore, is there? We're too predictable, says Dan Boy, playing on both wings where there's creativity in the middle. Let's thread balls through to our strikers, one-dimensional. When we were scoring and playing well, was Asante up front on his own. We can't score. Yeah. Unfortunately, Dan F, he done us over by getting sent off. All said and done, Sheffield United win and we beat Borough. We're 4 points clear, says Paul Cheney. Yes, positive. That's what we want. I'm trying to find a positive comment to finish on. Ray Carolon says, what are we doing in training? We missed Kitchen and Thomas with the height and bulk today, but how come in February we're looking leggy? Anyway, I'm back from the States for the Middlesbrough game. That's good to hear. Michael Dunn says, Norwich QPR 10 men, Oxford United. What's happened to Super Frank today? Lineup was bizarre. Sad to say, I think we have thrown auto promotion down the drain. Yeah, well, hopefully we can turn it around. Susan Barney, we have a history of losing to poorer clubs who parked the bus. Positive, we kept a clean sheet. Nigel Krask says, still lots of points to play for. You're still in the pole position. Hopefully you go up with Borough and the other team in blue lose in the playoffs. Keep the faith, Cov fans. Well, we need to. Skin Boy says, thought Wolfie was the best man on the pitch today. As a positive, we kept a clean sheet. Good point. You don't become a bad team overnight, says BCFC. A couple of wins, you'll be flying again. Lee Lishman, yes, agree to an extent, Claudio. We're still top. If we can't turn our form around overnight and go back to promotion form, we are not staying top for more than next week. Poor management at the top is going to kill us. Claudio, you're allowed to go to away games now. It's clear it's not your fault. I know it's not my fault. We'll beat Borough, says Dan Boy. You watch, and Sheffield United will beat them too. This isn't over yet. Borough have had their bad patch. They haven't had their bad patch yet to come. We're having ours now. Roy Keane said it's the women who give birth, not the man. It's true, isn't it? But unfortunately, it appears that they wear the trousers. So there you go. Borough fan here. We have more of our top players fit right now than any other point under Hellberg. Oh, great to hear that. That's all we need to hear, don't we? Go and have a cup of tea or something stronger, Claudio. Well done. Cheers. Thanks for that. And Leon Johnson, we'll leave it with this. On the plus side, at least the staff at Wembley know what I drink and usually have. Right then, we'll be back tomorrow night with Ken, the rest of the team. I've done 38 minutes. That's not bad, is it? Yes, it's a 0-0 draw. Yes, we're still top of the league. Yes, I'm frustrated. But play up Sky Blues. There's always the next game to get it right. Come on, Frank. Sort them out.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.